Well, what's going on, y'all? Thanks for tuning in this week. Now, today, I think you're really going to enjoy this video. Specifically, those of you that are watching that are mechanically inclined, whether that is your 9 to 5, you work at a dealership, a small mom and pop shop, you own your own shop, whether you're a diesel mechanic, a regular gas engine mechanic, you have a specialty shop, transmissions, rebuilding engines, you work on airplanes, helicopters, all across, you're a mechanic. Or even if you're not a mechanic by trade and you just like to dabble on the weekends, tinker on your own vehicles, your own motorcycle, your boat, whatever you might have, or after work. If you're mechanically inclined, you are probably going to enjoy this video a little bit more than most. But don't worry, those of you that aren't mechanically inclined, this video is for you as well. But we're going to start heavy on the mechanic side because by trade, I am a mechanic. Now, I don't really mechanic anymore as far as professionally, but I still tinker and dabble here and there on my own personal vehicles. So with that said, I want to dive right into this. So buckle in and press in. Let's get after it. Okay, so I want to ask a question. And this mechanical question that I want to ask, for those of you that are mechanically inclined, whether you're a mechanic by trade or you like to dabble, you're going to already know the answer to this. More than likely, you're going to know the answer to this. But I want to hone in and focus in on those of you that are not mechanically inclined, just so that we're on the same page. Because we're going after a certain goal, an objective. And to get there, I want everybody to be on the same page before I bring this topic up. So when we're talking about head gaskets and bolting a head to the block on a car, why is the torque sequence important? Now I'm going to show you a generic picture that I just found online of a head and like the sequence on how to torque the bolts. And I'm going to put this up on the screen. If you notice, it goes from like the middle and you have 1 and then it crosses up to 2 and then it drops back down to 3 and then it crosses back up to 4. But then you notice, right, if you notice how this sequence goes, it kind of goes from the middle and then it kind of works its way out. But if you take a look at number 7 down in the corner, and then you look at number 8 and it's crossed the opposite corner, so it's not just directly above. There's a certain pattern, a certain sequence. And why is this important? Why is it important to torque the bolts this way? Well, I'm going to show you some answers to this question. And first, it's what happens if you don't torque the head bolts correctly? Like if you don't follow this pattern or this sequence. Well, it says manufacturer spec guarantees proper, even torque across all surfaces, minimizing chances of unequal pressure, resulting in blown head gaskets. To apply even pressure. If you don't, you can warp the head or cause leaks. Now, some of you are like, okay, well, that makes sense. But I want to just really make sure that it rings true how important it is. So look at this as well. Why the sequence is important. Even pressure. The correct torque sequence ensures the cylinder head is clamped down evenly across the entire surface. Prevents warping. Following the specified pattern from the center outwards helps prevent any single area from being stressed more than others which prevents warping, maintains a seal. Proper, even tightening is crucial for maintaining the seal of the head gasket and keeping internal pressures contained. And I want to show this one other thing. If you don't follow the torque sequence on a head gasket, you can cause the cylinder head to warp, leading to a blown head gasket and potential engine damage. This is because an incorrect sequence creates uneven clamping force, which can result in coolant or oil leaks, loss of compression, and mixing of fluids, eventually leading to overheating and more severe issues. So this is why the torque sequence is important on a head gasket, because if not, you can cause warping, the improper seals, leakage, more severe issues. Now, for those of you that are like, well, that makes sense. Okay, great. But let's bring it a little bit, I don't know, outside the engine bay, so much so. And let's talk about fuel fill-ups, or the difference between diesel and gas. Why is it important, or what happens if you put diesel in a gas car? I'm pretty sure some of you have probably Googled this and searched this, but I wanted to show this to you, the reasoning why. It says, putting diesel in a gas car causes poor performance, like misfiring and stalling, because diesel is thicker and ignites differently. If you don't start the engine, you'll need a tow and fuel system flush, costing hundreds. But if you drive it, the diesel clogs injectors, potentially damaging the fuel pump, filters, and catalytic converter, leading to thousands in repairs. So it's the difference between hundreds if you don't start the car and thousands in repairs if you start it. But it's thicker and it ignites differently. So it's not designed if you have a gas vehicle to run on diesel. So you have to put the proper type of fuel in. And this is per the manufacturer. The manufacturer has built the car, so they know. They know what torque sequence when we're talking about a head, and they know what type of fuel because they're the ones that built the car. So they are the ones that put the owner's manual together, and they're the ones that kind of tell you the procedure. Now let's zoom out here. Let's zoom out from talking about cars to the wider scope of things. We are all human beings. We have a creator, a manufacturer, if you will, God. And he told us the proper sequence and how to live our life. Right? We have the Bible that is our guide, our owner's manual, how we're supposed to live life, how we're supposed to interact, what we're supposed to do, the proper sequence, which, getting to the whole root of this video, the heart of it, is how you're supposed to get married and then be intimate with your spouse. And yet, so many of us, we don't follow the proper sequence. We are intimate and we play house with people, with individuals, play with people's hearts and emotions, and then leave. It doesn't work out. But you need to be able to find out if you're compatible so you become intimate, even though that is not the proper sequence. That is not the proper sequence and how God designed us to be. He designed us to be married and then be intimate. And yet we, as human beings, take it outside and we don't do the proper sequence. And then that is where all of this pain and heartache come from, because we don't date properly. And so we don't live life and follow the proper sequence. God is our creator. He is our manufacturer. We have an owner's manual on how we're supposed to live life, how we're supposed to do things the proper way. And when we move outside of that sequence, catastrophic things can happen. Catastrophic things can happen. And I don't think we often realize how important it is to follow the correct sequence of our life, how crucial it is. We follow it so well when it comes to our vehicles, putting the right fuel in, torquing the heads down. But when it comes to our own life, which is so much more important and so much more valuable than a vehicle, we don't care about the sequence. We don't care about what the manufacturer tells us. We do our own thing, thinking that it'll work out just fine. And yet, we do, and every single time there is heartache, pain, when we don't follow the sequence. Now, some of you watching, I can hear already, are saying, well, wait a minute. There's even people that follow the sequence and they date and then they get married and then they get divorced. So it still doesn't work out even if you do follow the proper sequence. Well, if you're not building on the correct foundation, that is part of the owner's manual of what it says in the Bible, how you're supposed to build a life. You're supposed to be equally yoked, not unequally yoked. So if you're building a life with somebody and you're not on the same foundation, you don't believe the same things, and so you're getting married, that is again out of sequence. That is part of the sequence, is you have to be equally yoked. Because if you're equally yoked, guess what? Then you're building on the correct foundation and there won't be divorce. But so many of us will try to look at a potential spouse as a charity case. Oh, I can fix him or her. I believe, even though they don't believe, but if I get married to them, I can take them to church. I can make them read the Bible. They're not some sort of place that you can volunteer at and get some brownie points with. That is not where you're supposed to play charity with a potential spouse. That you have to make sure that you're building on the correct foundation, that you put the proper steps and building blocks in place to build a family, to have a family. The sequence is important in vehicles and in life. And I wanted to make this correlation because I was thinking about this recently. When you think about working on cars, there is so much procedures, so much technical service bulletins, and ways that you're supposed to do things, how you're supposed to take things off, what you're supposed to do, procedures, bolts you're supposed to remove, things you're supposed to do, even computers on the cars. You're supposed to plug like a scan tool in and follow this diagram or pattern of what sensors are reading, and there is a window or a criteria of what they're supposed to put out, what they're supposed to be reading, and what is within spec and what is out of spec. And if it's out of spec, well, then you have to test certain components and find out if it's the sensor that's the problem, if it's the wiring. You have to get down to the root cause of the issue. Because if you just go after, the sensor, and it's not the sensor, you buy a new sensor and it's going to tell you the same thing, and it doesn't fix the issue. We do the same thing in our life. We see little problems that arise, but we don't go after the issue. So you think, oh, well, I'm having tension here in this marriage, in this relationship. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut and run. I'm going to get a divorce. Then you hop into another relationship and you have the same tension and the same issue with another person because you didn't fix the root cause of the problem. And instead, you just kind of damaged a relationship, a marriage. You got divorced, especially if you have kids. Now you got to do this co-parenting stuff, and then you hop into another relationship and you create tension now here. A whole bunch of emotions is all out of whack because you're not going after the correct issue and fixing the issue. I just want us to take a moment and realize that the sequence is important, and you have to follow the manufacturer's specified procedures and sequence. They've done the research, they've done the work. They're the ones that built the vehicle, they know what it's supposed to be. God created us. He knows what it's supposed to be. He gave us an owner's manual. Follow the sequence. It's important. So I thank you so much for watching today and for tuning in this week. Please comment below and let me know if this video helped you to kind of correlate the two and really understand a little bit better about why it's important. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you found this video enjoyable and helpful and inspiring. So until next week, y'all stay safe, and as always, God bless.